of the Gyan Gurus with whom we share the stage today. Dr. Kalam India Foundation is fortunate to have on its panel a constellation of achievers in diverse domains, each a guiding light in its own right, who's making the path brighter and better for all others. Completely in sync with the vision and mission of Dr. Kalam India Foundation, we talk on thinking, innovation, entrepreneurship, and all of it in combination with our art, culture, and heritage. So today's seminar has a special innovative edition, which we are soon going to reveal. Let me now hand over the stage to our moderator for the day, Ms. Sumedha Sodhi.
Thank you
Sumedha
so
ma'am,
much.
welcome. Sumedha ma'am is a stellar personality in her own right. She is from Delhi and she is head of the social science department in Alcon International School. She is a multi-awardee and she is a very prominent personality who is bringing in technology into the classroom. So she is there she's an expert in all technology tools and she brings in technology to our classrooms, which is the need of the hour today. So I warmly welcome Sumedha ma'am and hand over the stage to her to carry on the program. And I again welcome all the guests and all the audience who are present with us today.
Thank you so much for a warm welcome, Shweta ma'am. Really means a lot. So let me start the program. Teachers have proved nothing is impossible if they wished. Opportunities in contingency they never missed. With their mightiest powers, they overcame distress, marched ahead, decimating perils on the path of progress. A very exuberant and wonderful evening to our honorable patron, Brigadier Dr. Sunil Kumar, Dr. Kalam India Foundation patron, our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh White, Director Research, Garwal, Himalayan University, Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Namita Rajput, ex-principal Aurobindo College, respected keynote speaker, Dr. D.P. Kothari, former VC VIT Vellore, former director IIT Delhi, esteemed assistant professor, Mr. Mohan Walia, Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Rajasthan, Dr. Sachin Gupta, EduRight leader, Professor Paola Perez López ma'am, English Language Culture for Secondary School from Romania, Professor Dr. Rashmi Agarwal, who will be joining soon from Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies, Faridabad, India. And overall, our guiding force who works day and night to make every small act an impactful one, Mr. Sudhakar Singh, sir, and my ever enthusiastic audience and chief patrons. Dear all, the year 2021 was a landmark stepping stone for a gallant, gigantic digital leap of the teachers in spite of the havoc wreaked by the COVID 19 pandemic that forced massive changes in the education sector. We today have gathered here to acknowledge and appreciate the undeterred spirit of the valorous teachers and edu leaders who took the challenge head on. They are the ones who leveraged their skills to counter the repercussions of the incessant pandemic on the lives of the innocent students. It's so overwhelming and surreal to be a part of this international conference on thinking skills for New India and the world on this auspicious day of Teachers' Day. On behalf of Dr. Kalam India Foundation and Skill Certifica, I wish everyone a happy Teachers' Day. We are delighted to have amongst us our chief guest, Dr. Namita Rajput, Honorable Patron, Dr. Kalam India Foundation. She is a former principal, Shri Aurobindo College, Delhi University, PhD from Delhi School of Economics, national trainer for accreditation. She has published over 20 books and contributed many chapters to respected publishers. She has also the copyright of theories that she has written and delivered almost 155 invited lectures in Gurukul universities, University of Delhi, She is being awarded with many awards by Ministry of Culture and felicitated by Education Minister for her contribution in higher education. We welcome you, ma'am. Kindly share your words of wisdom with all of us here and make us enlightened with your pearls of wisdom. Over to you, ma'am.
Dr. Namita will be soon joining us, and
Okay.
there is a little bit of correction. It went a bit. So, Dr. Sachin Gupta is Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration from Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Rajasthan. So, sorry, sir, there was a
No
bit
problem.
of mistake.
No
And
problem.
Namita ma'am is going to join us. I had just a talk with her, so we can
Okay.
go forward, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. They say that the only safe ship in a storm is the leadership which infuses enthusiasm, inspiration, and motivation during adversities. So, our keynote speaker for the day, Dr. D.P. Kothari, is one of whose charisma truly radiates these features through his vision of making possible the impossible. Dr. Kothari is a recipient of the Most Active Researcher Award and has published and presented 830 research papers in various national as well as international journals. Conferences, he has guided 56 PhD scholars and over 68 MTech students and authored 69 books in various allied areas. He has delivered several keynote addresses and has been invited to give lectures at both national and international conferences. With these words, I would like to invite our respected Kothari sir to accord his session for our venerated gathering. Over to you,
Thank you,
sir.
madam. So
We
nice of you.
welcome you.
I must
Thank you,
thank
sir.
the Dr. Singh and all others who invited me this evening to talk to all of you. Very good evening and very good morning, depending on the time zone. And again, once again, Happy New Year. Sorry, Happy Teachers' Day. Now, I had to say so many things, but time limitation is there. I'll start with the two important things. Everyone should get up at 4 a.m. That is called Brahma Muhurat. 4 a.m. mind is very fresh. Nobody to disturb. No meetings. Nothing. I written all my 73 books from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Wife sleeping, children sleeping. Just make a cup of tea and start writing. So all of you must get up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. 5 minutes prayer, 5 minutes yoga, and then start working. Definitely, your contribution will be much more than it is now. Second thing is, everyone should read one English newspaper in India because English is the international language. Of course, though our Honorable Prime Minister wants now education to be started in regional languages. IIT BHU will start teaching in Hindi. My only worry is those if you learn Hindi, they should also know English. Otherwise, how they will go to USA, Australia, Canada, and start working there. So you should not ignore the English language because of the regional languages. Second problem with the regional language teaching will be the books. So I had to translate all my 73 books into Hindi first, so that they can be used as a textbook. So these books should be ready before we start teaching, especially first year engineering. Next thing is I have given at least 110 webinars in this epidemic period, and 10 international and 100 national. Everywhere I have seen said the cell phone should be used only for 15 minutes. That too for WhatsApp, and that too in the night, evening time when you sleep. Don't waste your time, otherwise time will be wasted. WhatsApp or cell phone only 15 minutes per day, so that rest of the time you can work. Next thing is all of us should have to do PhD degree if you are not one. I'm sure most of us are all PhDs. Those who are not, others should guide them. For example, I'm willing to write PhD in any area. I'm all-rounder. I've written 3 books in mechanical, 3 electronics, 5 computer, 5 energy, rest electrical. So I'm willing to write book any one of you whosoever is listening to this lecture. And I'm willing to guide anybody PhD in any area. I am practically guided in all areas. So this is my humble submission to everybody. Next thing is we should start vertical universities now. There is no horizontal space left. When I entered IIT Delhi in 77, it was heaven, green. Now it is a concrete jungle. I don't know what to do. So new universities should be vertical and not horizontal. Secondly, every house should have one rooftop solar plant and one rainwater harvesting, so that already 10 cities in 10 years will have no water in India. Nagpur, Chennai are two of them. Let us not create that situation which is there in Sun City in South Africa. There is no water. They give only one bottle of water. One bottle of water, how can you cook? How can you make tea? How can you drink? How can you take bath? So water has to be, three conservations are important: energy conservation, water conservation, food conservation. Not everybody is getting food. So food must be conserved, water must be conserved, energy must be conserved. The future is wind and solar. We are already 3.81 gigawatt total installed capacity. We want to make it 5 gigawatt in India so that India can become a developed country. We are already developed country in 5 respects. We are second largest scientific and technological manpower in the world. I've been to 39 countries. Nowhere I found there no Indian, and every Indian is doing so well. So Indians are required everywhere. That's what America says. China is importing this. What we are importing? We are importing Indians. So Indians are going there and working for them. If you withdraw Indian and Chinese from US universities, they will collapse. The students and teachers, both of them are from India and China. So that is very important. Next thing we should do is the security. Food security, water security, cyber security. Everybody is going to hack anybody's account, anybody's bank account. So that we should apply machine learning, cloud computing, AI techniques to see that nobody can hack anybody's account. So all this computer knowledge must be put to the practical use. So let us see that. And as the RBI says, don't give your OTP to anybody, don't give PIN. That is very important. But in practice, it is not happening. So all these telephone programs, etc., should properly propagate this, advertise this, so that everybody understands what is the meaning of not giving OTP, not giving PIN to anybody, so that your hard-earned money is safe. Otherwise, your account will become zero tomorrow. So this is three things. Three securities are very important: food security, energy security, and cyber security. Like three conservations I said earlier: water, food, and energy. So these things are very important. And we have to work on 4 directions: ITI, AMI, Polytechnic, undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD. The new education policy in India is working towards that. And we should learn what is good in any country. When I became director IIT, I called all meeting of all directors and told them, whatever is good in any IIT, let us follow in all IITs. So that is good, very easy. And we started with the medical insurance for all faculty, all students. So now even after retirement, you get all benefits of medicine. So like that, so many countries are associated with this Kalam Foundation. Let us follow whatever good is Brazil, we should do here. Whatever good is in Portugal, we should do here. Whatever good is in Israel, we should follow in India. I think somebody can collaborate with the Home Ministry or Foreign Ministry or PMO, so that we try to follow, get good things. Like similarly, syllabus. Whatever you're teaching, your syllabus should be better than anybody in the world. See Imperial College syllabus, see MIT syllabus, see whatever good universities are there in the world, so that your syllabus need not be AICT syllabus. It should be the best syllabus. It should be the union of all, not the intersection. Well, I can go on and on like a teacher, 60-minute slot, but no, I think Professor Singh told me 10 minutes. So I will try to even answer some questions if anybody has. Or my cell phone number and mail ID is there with Professor Singh, that can be distributed, and I'll be very happy to talk to all of you anytime. I have 24 hours, no time difference problem. Because I have worked in all countries, so I know what is the time differences. I can work, and I'll be very happy to collaborate with all of you and talk on any matter, any topic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of encouragement. It really means a lot. And today, on the occasion of Teachers' Day, we all have left enlightened by your appreciating and encouraging words. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
And now thank you, sir. And now we have the privilege of honoring Dr. Namita Rajput, who has just joined us. She is the honorable patron of Dr. Kalam India Foundation, formal principal, Shri Aurobindo College, Due, PhD from Delhi School of Economics, and national trainer for accreditation. We welcome you, ma'am, to this evening on the international conference.
Thank you so much. It's my privilege to be on this dais, and my special greetings to Mr. Sudhakar Singh and the organizers for calling me here. And since I am a part of the conference and the essential part of the foundation, so I would like to add my views on this. Now, since we are living in a very competitive world, and as was addressed by my previous speaker, that we have to be very very competitive in terms of the syllabus, in terms of the best practices, in terms of what the international peers are doing. So, implementing those in the Indian context, or indigenizing their technology, indigenizing and collaborating. Because when you talk about today's scenario, we have a scenario of quality standards. So, in order to have the quality, it is the best way to collaborate with people. And, if we start baking it today, it is going to take some time. So, we have to be very, very strategic and smart in our endeavors, and do the best as far as the collaborations are concerned, as far as the joint efforts are concerned, as far as some exchange programs are concerned. It is really going to have some kind of spillover benefits from the international organizations straight onto India. So, as far as the higher education institutes are concerned, we are embarking on we are embarking on a new journey of accreditation framework, which is going to be essential part, and the institutions which are not going in for accreditation, or the assessment process, that is ANA process, will be left behind. So, in terms of the quality standards, in terms of achieving the new heights as far as the Indian scenario is concerned, I will be specifically talking about the HEIs, what role they can play. Because when you talk about the higher education institutes in India, I will specifically mention about the Indian HEIs, that they are not up to the mark as we compare it with the international HEIs. So we need to work hard as far as the, I think, what is the gap areas about the research part. So we have to actually work on the research part, and make our image to the best international image ever. So I was just comparing being a part and parcel of many HEI syllabus making, and other research organizations, and on the panel of the journals, etc. So this is my personal experience of 30 years journey in University of Delhi, that we are the ones who are quite behind in the area of research. What an undergraduate student knows, as far as in the international organizations and the schools and the HEIs are concerned, we are, I mean, even the teachers in the universities are not up to that level, what an undergraduate level, student has. So we have to upskill, we should not be feeling bad about it. Let us accept our weaknesses. Only then we can work on those weaknesses. So if we move on with some special programs on the faculty development programs, student development programs, and upskilling of the research is concerned, we are actually going to pull the image. Publishing the papers in the Scopus listed journals, in ABDC journals, or the journals of international repute. It is going to actually encourage our faculty members. We can, as far as the overall, the leaders are concerned, they have to steer, and embark on the journey of transformation rather than transactions. So, as the leaders of today, we must implement the transformation strategies, and less impact on the transactional approach. Why? Because if the people are doing their particular endeavors from heart and soul, it is going to be very, very enriching, and very, very good for an individual as well as for the organizations. So instead of putting some negative enforcement, we should move on with some positive enforcement of those strategies which are good for the organizations to grow, and specifically higher education institutes are concerned. Because what I feel is that we have been quite behind as far as the education system is concerned because of the colonization of India, etc. So, in order to have some constructive effort for the distortions which have taken place in the past, upgrading the educational institutes, upskilling the faculty members, enriching the teaching learning experience with the outcome based education, with the implementation of the Bloom's taxonomy, it is actually going to give a good mileage to the educational institutes. And as far as the the new pedagogies are concerned, there has to be an amalgam of say case study methods, sensitivity analysis, discourse analysis. Some good qualitative aspects must be endorsed to the students of today, to the faculty of today, so that they can actually show to the world that yes, and show their presence in the world that yes, they are there and they are not less compared to the international counterparts. So this was one part, that is research, etc. Then we can have some good innovative teaching pedagogies, as I've already addressed, about case study analysis, about some sensitivity analysis, discourse analysis, say content analysis. So these they are not much prevalent, and they are not much in practice, and people do the research just for the heck of getting some kind of promotions, or owing to their some compulsions. So what I feel is that when the Indian faculty members, the Indian students, they would understand the substantial and the deep meaning of embarking on the field of the research, we'll be able to face the challenges of new India. And of course, uh, these are the particular aspects which the HEIs have to implement in terms of the research, in terms of innovations, in terms of collaborations, in terms of making their syllabus more applied and more employable. So, these are some of the missing Minerva as far as the Indian education landscape is concerned. So, we can implement and start enforcing some collaborations in terms of having some workshops, as our organization is also doing. And I feel very proud to be a part of Kalam Foundation, because they are, very quickly moving on to the missing gaps and trying to plug the gaps, which are very, very important to, fill our weaknesses, fill our gaps, fill our limitations. And for that matter, when you talk about the leaders of today, as far as the HEIs are concerned, there should be a substantial support extended by the organizations for the research purpose, for doing some hands-on projects, for doing some learning, experiential learning. Because when these students, teachers, and the non-teaching staff, they collaborate together, because non-teaching staff is also very, very important for the because they take care of the admin part. So in a project, every essential skill is required, besides teaching, besides students, besides the non-teaching staff, because they have to do a lot of admin work. So in the collaboration of three, we can have some innovative aspects being unveiled in the process of execution of that particular project. So even I did one innovative project, which was initiated by University of Delhi, was funded by University of Delhi with a very substantial amount given to us. So what I just want to share this experience, because this is really going to be infectious, and I want this to be infectious and implemented everywhere. So this was a very beautiful endeavor started by University of Delhi, called as Innovative Project. And there was an exhibition called Antardhvani, in which the 10 students were picked across disciplines. There were 3 mentor teachers who were a part of the project, and there was a very active collaboration part of the non-teaching staff also. We did a project on green banking. So I took my students essentially to Jaipur to show them some green counter channels. So they started working on the sustainability issues, and they saw physically that how the project was carried out. We did a drill of green work also, where we talked to people. So interview skills, innovative skills were enhanced and learning by doing was implemented. So it was such a enriching experience. So these kind of projects are very, very important to for the organizations to upskill the faculty members, to have some student development programs and collaborative issues of both, because when you do a project, it's a learning for the faculty members also and for the students also. So a joint effort, this is one. When you have a diversity of the learners in the project, similarly we can have diversity at an upper level also. The upper level could be, collaborating with the other higher education institutes. Another diversity could be collaborating with the global counterparts. So if you have some inner collaborations, then outer collaborations, then outer collaborations, and so on and so forth. So these are the different tier structures which can actually pave a way for the success for the higher education institutes. So even I was asked to be very brief. So my salutations and greetings again to everyone, and a very heartfelt thank you to the organizers, especially Sudhakar sir, for calling me here and sharing my views. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your motivating words always, I think, will make us amplify our potential on this day of Teachers' Day, and thus all will be able to attain some heights in whatever we are doing for the teaching profession. Thank you
And
so
one more
much.
thing about Namita ma'am is that there is not even a single day she doesn't wish me good morning. Not even a single day. So that kind of blessings hers is, and she's not like a sister, but she is a real sister to me. And मुझे उनकी blessings से
Wow.
वो मुझसे
Well,
ज्यादा बड़ी नहीं, 1 साल बड़ी होंगी या 6 महीने बड़ी होंगी, लेकिन बहन तो बहन होती है. तो मैं रियली अपने आप को फॉर्चुनेट मानता हूँ कि उनकी ब्लेसिंग्स एंड उनके गुड विशेस मेरे साथ हैं. तो थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम, एंड हैप्पी टीचर्स डे टू यू. तो मेरे लिए आप गुरु हैं. सुनील सर इज गुरु एंड यू आर ऑल्सो माई गुरु. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम. जी मैम.
thank you.
मेधा मैम प्लीज.
Great leaders possess an unquenchable passion for successfully implementing the vision and possess the foresight to move ahead, even in the most questionable times. And this description befits our passionate speaker today, Professor Rashmi Agarwal, ma'am. I would like to invite Ms. Rashmi Agarwal so that she can inspire us all with her transcending thoughts and create a positive era on new thinking skills for India and the world. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Sumedha ma'am, for such a nice introduction. So let me share my screen because I have created one small PPT. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Ma'am,
today
excuse me.
for a
Ma'am, can you,
yeah
excuse me, ma'am, sorry for the
yes,
interruption. Can you please make it horizontal because the
yeah
text is
yeah.
not readable?
Okay, sure. Just give me 1 minute. I'm again sharing my screen.
Okay, okay, no problem, ma'am.
Yeah. I hope it is visible now.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am. Now
Yeah.
it's perfectly
So
fine.
today I will give a small introduction on the topic understanding education and its objective through Bloom's taxonomy. Although the speaker earlier to me, ma'am, has touched somewhat about the Bloom's taxonomy. So this is a topic which, as a teacher, as an educator, we all need to focus on this topic nowadays. It is the need of the hour. And covering this topic in only a short duration of 10 minutes, I hope I would not be able to justify it, but I will try to give you some glimpse, some idea about what is Bloom's taxonomy and actually what does it mean, how this Bloom taxonomy serve the purpose in the higher education and in the school education as well. Fine. So what is this Bloom taxonomy? So one of the most widely used ways of organizing levels of expertise is according to the Bloom's taxonomy of the educational objectives. So this Bloom's taxonomy, it uses a multi-tier scale to express the level of expertise which is required to achieve each measurable student outcome. As a teacher, we are teaching the students, but we have to measure it. And this measurement should be scientifically proven. There should be some outcome. Whatever we are teaching to the student, what the student is getting, what is the outcome of that teaching. So that is taken care by the Bloom taxonomy. So this Bloom taxonomy, it organizing measurable student outcome in this way, it allows us to select appropriate classroom assessment techniques for the course which we teach. So there are multiple ways in which we generally assess our students, we teach our students. So in the Bloom taxonomy, it provides us how we should teach our students, how we should assess our students, and this is how we can predict their assessment or we can predict the outcome of the student. So the Bloom taxonomy is a classification of the different objectives and the skills that educators set for their student. As an educator, we generally plan the learning objective for a particular course. This Bloom taxonomy, it was proposed by the person Benjamin Bloom and in the year 1956, but now in the higher education as well as in the school education, it has been made a mandate by the AICT that as an educator, we have to follow this Bloom taxonomy. So in this Bloom taxonomy, basically we have the 6 levels using which we can structure our learning objective. And what are these 6 levels? So these are the 6 levels. The lowest level, the first level is the remembering, and then understanding, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So as an educator, it is very, very important to understand the meaning and purpose of all these levels. So this first level of remembering, it means this first level of learning is utilized in giving the instructions according to the Bloom's taxonomy. At this level, the learner is expected to recall the facts and repeat the information. So how we can assess this level, whether a student has attained the level 0 or the remembering level or not. So this is how we can ask the questions in the question paper that what do you understand by this? What do you mean by this? So such kind of questions only define the remembering level. So basically this level answers the basic questions who, what, when, and where. And above this level, the next level comes about the understanding. So at this next level of hierarchy, understanding where the learner begins to grasp the meaning. The learner starts interpreting the material and shows a deeper understanding. And after reading a passage, for example, the student can give the main idea of the passage. As a school student, we can give a passage to the student and we can ask, what is your takeaway of the passage? What is the summary of this passage? What you have understood from this passage? So this is how we can ask such kind of question to check, to build the understanding level of the student. And the next level is the applying. So moving up the hierarchy, the student is asked to use the information in new ways so that he can apply what he knows, but it is still employing lower order thinking skills. So, in this pyramid, whenever we are asking a question of the upper hierarchy, it is obvious the student must be able to answer the questions related to the lower hierarchy. For example, if I am asking a student to apply some concept, in that case, he must be able to answer the question related to the understanding level or related to the remembering level. And the next step, next hierarchy is the evaluate. Next hierarchy is the analyzing. So in this level of hierarchy, the student begins to utilize the higher order critical thinking skills in this meaning. So when analyzing, the student determines the relationship between parts. He or she can use the information to develop the cause and effect relationship between the events and is led to set the reasons why the characters behave in the ways they do. For example, we all have listened to a very famous story of the Goldilocks. So, for example, the teacher can ask the question, why did Goldilocks run away from the three bears? So this is how this we can check as an educator whether the student will be able to analyze whatever we have taught in the classroom or not. And next, the higher level of hierarchy is the evaluating, in which the student is asked to use his knowledge and understanding about a subject to analyze and assess the information and then go to a step beyond the explaining why he thinks this is true. For an example, we can ask which vegetable is the healthiest. So the student can identify what are the various vegetables and he can evaluate what are the various nutritious contents inside those vegetables, and then he can answer the asked question which vegetable is the healthiest. So this is how we can evaluate the student. And last, the top level of hierarchy is the creating. So in this creating, the student utilizes the all other levels to create a completely new thought or an idea. For example, the student might decide what would happen to a character with different circumstances. For example, again we all know about the very famous story of the Cinderella. So we can ask the question, what would have happened to Cinderella if she had not had a fairy godmother? So then student will be able to apply its own mind and will be able to create the own story. Or we can give the questions like, can you create a similar story or have you faced something like this? So this is how they can create the understanding. They first, when we are asking a question related to the top level, in that case the student will be able to apply all the levels, like he must be able to remember about the story, he must be able to understand, he must be able to apply, analyze, and then evaluate and then create. So it is obvious whenever we are asking a question for the upper hierarchy, then it obviously covers the questions to the lower hierarchy. So the now my question is how this Bloom can aid in the course design. So this Bloom taxonomy is a very, very powerful tool to help in developing the objectives because it explains the process of learning. And what is this process of learning? Before you can understand a concept, you must remember it. So now you have to recall my pyramid which I have shared. All these hierarchies it has to follow. So before understanding a concept, you must remember it. And in order to apply a concept, you must first understand it. In order to evaluate a process, you must have analyzed it. So now, if I am asked as a teacher, as an educator, if I am asking a question, when I want to evaluate my student, whether my student have understood a particular concept or not. Now, I want to evaluate that person. So how, when I will evaluate that person, that question, the student will be able to answer that question only when he is thorough with all the lower level of hierarchies. He is able to analyze, he is able to apply, he is able to understand, and he is able to remember that concept. Fine. And in the last, to create an accurate conclusion, you must have completed a thorough evaluation, and only then the purpose of education will be fulfilled. So now my question arises how this Bloom works with the learning objective. As an educator, we all create the learning objective before starting of a course. Whenever we want to teach a course, there are some learning objectives. So how this Bloom taxonomy have worked? Because it's a very big topic, and it is really impossible to cover this topic in such a short duration of time. So I would advise those who have somewhat of interest in this Bloom, understanding the Bloom taxonomy, they can refer the Bloom taxonomy verb chart. So verb chart table is given. All it is flooded over the internet. They can just write the Bloom taxonomy over the Google, and they will find out for every level of hierarchy there is a verb chart given. Like for the level of the remembering, the verb chart of what, when, where, and how it is given. And then whenever we are going to the upper level, then if I want to ask the question related to the upper level, then how I should create the questions, what kind of verbs I should use in my assessment. Then from there I can get the help, and this is how you can see. Then this this Bloom taxonomy will help us in aiding the course and in achieving our learning objective. So, if in case anyone wants to ask any question, you are most welcome. I hope I know I have not given justice to this topic in such a short duration. But if in case any question anyone wants to ask, you are most welcome.
Ma'am, this is Sudhakar here, and
Yeah.
it is really excellent to hear your this presentation. It's great, ma'am, no doubt about it. And I think that it's going to help the students and the entire education community for this. I just wanted to know, ask you, don't you think that the developing thinking skills is the first step towards all this?
Yeah, very true, Sudhakar. That's why it is mandatory even in the schools. Before coming to the higher education, it is mandatory to the schools. All the teachers, they are very hardworking people. The schools, two teachers, they are making their questions, they are making their assessment by following the Bloom taxonomy as it has been made mandatory by the AICT and by the other higher education authorities nowadays.
Thank you so
Right,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right, ma'am. So I think that
Yeah.
a series of these conferences on thinking skills are much required, I think, and it should reach each and every school and the colleges.
Yes,
Rashmi, ma'am.
yes, yes. I think it is really required at the school level and at the college level also, because in the school level, although teachers are following it, but in the higher education it is mostly required, because once the student is comfortable with the concepts, they need to apply these concepts, they need to understand it. They are coming with the understanding level, but we have to take up to the higher level. So that's why it is mostly required in the higher education.
Right,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, and
Most
you
welcome.
took time
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I know that you were stuck in some
Yeah, it was
thing
some
there, but
unavoidable
still you
circumstances. So I have
yes,
to take
I
a leave
understand.
right now. And really, I
Please, ma'am.
have heard the two presenters. They really spoke wonderful. I want to stay, but definitely next time I will find out time to stay for whole time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
most
Have a
welcome. Yeah,
nice evening, ma'am. Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am, for giving such a deep insight into the Bloom's taxonomy. Inspiring leaders do not set out just to be leaders, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, but it's about the goal. And we have our speaker, Dr. Paola Perez López. She is a professor of English language and culture Professor of English for secondary school, Professor of English for primary school, and she is owner and director of Yes English Institute and coordinator and examiner of Path International Examination. She has been in the field of English language teaching field for 23 years. Also, she has taken teaching knowledge test and knowledge about language from Cambridge University. She has been speaker in several training programs for teachers regarding the methodology, multiple intelligence, emotions in teaching, and learning process. She has written and published 2 short stories and over 122 articles in the magazine. So I would like to request our honorable guest, Dr. Paola Perez López, ma'am, to kindly felicitate us with with her words of wisdom. Over to you, ma'am.
Well, thank you very much once again. For me, it's a pleasure to be here with you. You know that I'm from the other part of the world, and it's a pleasure for me to be part of these meetings with so amazing people. I'm always learning with you and your meetings, so I'm taking down notes to learn some things to search, so thank you very much for sharing your knowledge. Well, today I was invited to talk about thinking skills. And when you told me about this topic, that this was the conference going to be about, I thought how important it is for us to take into account that even though we are talking all day long about the 21st century skills, and critical thinking could be one of these skills, sometimes we don't know exactly what to do in our classes in order to develop these skills. So I was thinking I would like to share my screen. I have prepared something that I'd like to share with you. Could you let me, please? Okay. Let's see. Here it is. Let me know if you can see it, okay? Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am, it is clearly visible. You can just make it
okay.
full screen.
Okay, thank you very much. So, we're going to talk about thinking skills. And you know that one of the abilities that we need to develop and to work on with our students in all levels is critical thinking. I think that we keep on repeating sometimes concepts, but we truly don't know exactly how can we get to this and how important they are for our students and for us. So critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. It includes the ability to engage in reflective and independent thinking. Someone with critical thinking skills is able to do the following: understand the logical connection between ideas, identify, construct, and evaluate arguments, detect inconsistencies and common mistakes in reasoning, solve problems systematically, identify the relevance and importance of ideas, and reflect on the justification of one's own beliefs and values. So if we pay attention to all the benefits of developing critical thinking in our students and in ourselves, that's going to be make us work on that, to research on that, to look for ways to achieve this critical thinking in our students, no matter of their academic level, no matter if they are in primary school or in secondary school or in university. Imagine the benefits of critical thinking if we start working seriously and consciously about it from primary school. with little activities. So which are the benefits of critical thinking? The ability to think clearly and rationally is important whatever we choose to do. If you work in education, in research, in finance, in management, or the legal profession, any part in any area of development, at work, academic development, of any area, this could be the ability to think clearly and rationally. So we are giving the students a very powerful tool to perform in their academic areas, in their academic environments, in their work, in their life. Thinking clearly and systematically can improve the way we express our ideas in learning how to analyze the logical structure of texts. Critical thinking also improves comprehension abilities. So when we are talking about thinking and critical thinking, we are giving them the abilities to express their ideas in a better way, so they can have access to evaluate what comes to them and to express their opinion about that. Even if they are against the other's point of view, they will learn how to respect others' point of view and to express their point of view respectfully. So critical thinking promotes creativity. You know that creativity would be another skill that's absolutely necessary for these 21st century skills. Critical thinking promotes creativity to come up with a creative solution to a problem. Involves not just having new ideas. Yes, it's thinking which are the possible solutions that I can give to a problem. Science requires the critical use of reason in experimentation and theory confirmation. So the proper functioning of a liberal democracy requires citizens who can think critically about social issues. So when we are giving our students strategies and tools to deal with their critical thinking, we are not only giving them ways to perform better in the academic, performance in their school, in their universities, but we are also giving them the possibility of becoming citizens that consider, take into account, evaluate everything that comes to them in their daily life, and they can think and choose what to believe and what not to believe. So it's extremely important. How do we teach critical thinking? Well, sometimes we get lost in theories, we get lost in contents, but we don't know exactly how to, maybe as directors or principals, we don't know exactly how to guide our teachers, how, as a teacher, how to take this huge, amazing concept into the classroom itself. To, I don't know, primary students, how can I teach them to prompt their critical thinking? Well, we can do some things. And I was thinking of the university. So in this video, you can have that. I found that is very useful. You have a very brief guide to critical thinking if you are teaching at the university to your students. So let's see if you can do it. See it.
Excuse me, ma'am. We are not able to see your video slide. Your slides are not changing. Hello, Lopez ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Request to the full screen,
Sorry?
ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, we are not able
Yes.
to see your
Yes,
video
you are.
screen, the video that you want to share. Your slide is still stuck on the first slide only.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on because wait. Let's see. Oh, I'm so sorry. What? I don't know why I cannot do it. Could you please
Yeah, ma'am, can you please screen share again? when you press the present
not
now
there.
button,
No.
there will be an option of a tab. You can choose that tab option to share the video.
Yes, I have shared it. I have shared the full screen, only one window, and the third option, which is the one, the full screen. It was working, so I don't know. Well, okay. Let's see. Well, okay, I cannot share it, so I will read. It's a pity because I have a nice video and pictures I want to share with you. Sometimes when we are in class, we don't know exactly what to do. What activity can we carry out in order to make our students develop certain skills? We are so worried about contents, and that sometimes we don't have time to devote to what we can do exactly according to their level to develop these skills. Well, I have suggested some activities that could be, for example, whenever you are dealing with critical thinking, we have to base our activities on problem solving. So this has to do with what? When we have a problem, we have to ask students many questions in order to find out which is the exact problem, which are the details about these problems, and we have to go deeper on the problem in order to we can talk about it, we can develop debates about the topic, we can talk about possible solutions according to their point of view. So you know that working with problems and providing solutions to these problems and giving details about the problems and provided different solutions, that could be something that could be adjusted to all their levels of language according to their academic level, and that would truly help them to develop the critical thinking skills. I also, you know that when we are in high school, when they are teenagers, they love having debates in class about debatable topics. So that could be amazing if we have these kind of activities where we can give them the opportunity to express their ideas and to support their point of view, so they can listen to other students' point of view and maybe reconsider their own point of view, change their mind, consider others' points of view, yes, and also express their point of view in a respectful way and not trying to confront with the other person, but trying to gain knowledge from the debate. Also, I was thinking, you know that nowadays social networks are so familiar. Students are so in touch with social networks. Though, how can we work with critical thinking in that area? Well, for example, we can take news. I have prepared something to show you. It's a pity that I cannot do it. But fake news. Okay, let's train our students to identify which news are real news and which news are not. So let's pay attention to single details. So this will be helpful, not only for class, to have a debate, to share the activity, but also for life, where whenever they are reading something in the social networks, they can identify what is real information and which is not real information. The same happens with pictures. We can do that with pictures. You know that there are many fake pictures going around that become very popular and everybody believes that those pictures are real. Well, okay, we can take those pictures and show these two pictures to our students and say, okay, so this picture is real for you. Which of these two pictures is real? Why do you think it is real? Why do you think it is not real? So let's research on that. And let's prompt our students to become critical on what they are saying. So there are many activities that we can do in class that has to do with their daily life, that has to do with social networks, with news, with TV programs. And we can prompt that from their motivation, taking into account their interests in order to achieve the aim that we have for our classes and for our programs. So I think that we as teachers have to see education from our students' eyes and to teach them with the information they have and with the interest they have. So if we can see things from their eyes, we are going to get their attention, we are going to get them involved in what they need to know. But we have to keep in mind that we have to take into account our students' ideas, our students' interests, in order to make them become critical thinkers. So I'm sorry for the presentation that I couldn't share with you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's my pleasure, and happy Teachers' Day for everybody.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a power-packed presentation on critical thinking skills. I think each and every person over here has affected and impacted from your great presentation and great ideas. Really means a lot. Happy Teachers' Day, ma'am. So, dear audience, now I take the privilege of welcoming our next speaker for the day, Dr. Sachin Gupta. He has earned his doctorate degree from Department of Business Administration, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. He completed his research during his MPhil degree from Department of Business Administration, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur, and he also completed his postgraduate degree specialities, one in MBA and as a Masters of Commerce from Department of Business Administration and another in Finance from Rajasthan Technical University, Kota. I request you, sir, to kindly share your insights and enlighten all of us with your school of thoughts.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. And it was not a brief introduction. It was such a huge introduction given by Kalam Foundation team. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me on this prestigious platform, which is on a very, very important topic. So my take on the topic would be upskilling youth for a self-reliant India. And I think this is a very, very burning and contemporary topic because there is a saying that India is an old country, but young nation. And this quote was given by Mahatma Gandhi ji. And this is because due to the efforts of youth. So here my topic would be focusing on the youth power, youth empowerment, which is very, very important for self-reliant India. As we know that self-reliant India is the vision of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, which is basically based on how India is to be empowered, how India can be made as a self-reliant nation. So yes, of course, this is the need of the hour, is to upgrade the skill or upskilling the youth to meet the employment needs of technology-driven 21st century. And obviously, this is the method by which the pace of self-reliance can be accelerated. So there is a question, there is an uncertainty created by this pandemic. And recently, we have all seen that by many as an opportunity to upgrade knowledge and acquire new skills by the youth, definitely it will cater to the post-coronavirus job scenario. So this is my humble submission to all the youth who are attending this international conference right now. Ki, what are the skills required for tomorrow's job? It is very, very essential to know because these jobs will be completely different from the skill set youth possess today. So it is high time now we have to make India self-reliant, and youth plays the most important role in this mission. And of course, no doubt, youth are the future of any country. Another key aspect is values. What type of values you are as a teacher, as a mentor, as a guide, what kind of values are you inculcating in the minds of the youth? Generally, usually what we see, we discuss so many things. We discuss on skill development. We discuss on various types of involvement, which is basically dependent on employable skills. But what are the values that are to be inculcated among the minds of youth? young generation? So it is a very, very important question that comes into my mind, being a teacher, being a facilitator. And value education does not figure in the equation. It has a horror, it has a wide horizon. It has a broad horizon. But more often what we see, it is one's values that help the person enjoy long-term success in career and personal and social life. So in this context, the scope of skill development projects being maintained by Government of India whenever possible can aim at getting the youth imbibing values of discipline and of course inculcating the attitude of continuous learning. So this is my humble submission to all the youth who are attending this conference right now. Please, please, please focus on values, that how values as a disciplinary action, discipline mode can be imbibed. Our chief means is to impart the youth with employability skills, as well as social skills and value of discipline. And as I have seen that continuous learning is very, very important and which is very, very essential for them to grow in their career and really for them to remain happy and successful forever. Here, an important question comes and arises in my mind. Are we investing in our youth? No. Today, a lot of young entrepreneurs who want to begin a business are held back due to lack of proper skills and training at the grassroots level. And being a facilitator, being a faculty, because I used to take care entrepreneurship development cell in my university. So this is our moral duty to train them at grassroots level. In spite of having a brilliant industry knowledge, one falls back in entrepreneurship due to lack of life skills. And this is because in addition to hard skills, in addition to technical knowledge, one also needs soft skills starting a business. So this is a very, very important question. Are we investing in our youth? Just listen to it. Life skills are the building blocks of any type of business, whether it is a parental business, whether it is a solo type of business, or whether it is any type of MNC, especially for startups with many people now willing to take the risk of running a business. Generally, what we just see that ignoring soft skills like public speaking, time management, and relationship building, negotiation and leadership may hamper the rapid growth of the startup environment. And it is very, 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 very risky, otherwise possible by honing these. So if the government is able to find a way to skill every youth and make them self-reliant in the near future, the startups will receive a boost. The startups will receive a significant grant by the sake and for the sake and welfare of the new entrepreneurs. So upskilling youth is a very, very important terminology. And we have to focus on these aspects if we are discussing these type of issues on this platform. Because India is the 4th biggest startup base in the world. And this is said to be even better in the coming days. So being a mentor, being a teacher, if I talk about myself, this is my duty to impart these type of education among youth. And if we discuss about Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he has hailed the National Education Policy of 2020 as a futuristic policy and according with the global parameters. And as per this policy, it is mandatory to include skill-oriented courses, entrepreneurship skill courses in the syllabuses itself. And the Prime Minister stressed on the need to focus on youth. And of course, their skill set saying that the self-reliant India of our dreams can only be achieved their active contribution with the help of skill sets imparted by a faculty, by a mentor to the prospective entrepreneur, to the prospective student. The center is building Indian Skill Institute in various cities across the nation to provide best training to the youth in the country. It is an urgency to create these type of Indian skill institutes in various countries so that some skill set, some entrepreneurship skill could be imparted among various youth segment. And really, I'll not take so much time because of paucity of time, but I'll finish this session by a quote. Of course, youth are the torchbearer of a self-reliant India in 21st century. So we have to focus on these aspects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your golden words. And whatever you have said is highly enlightening and highly appreciable. That how much you are thinking for bridging that gap which the youth is facing from going to school to the industry. Being a school teacher, I can understand the kind of dilemma the youth is facing today. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Thank you.
Now I invite Brigadier Dr. Sunil Kumar Modgil. He is an international master trainer, leadership coach, author, motivational speaker, founder and CEO of Modgil Learning and Development Solutions. Brigadier Modgil is a multifaceted professional with over 3 decades of excellence in the field of leadership, training, and development during Army service, and 1 decade plus thereafter in the corporate and the educational world. He has handled many breathtaking missions while serving the Indian Army. He brings with him real life hair raising stories and examples of victory, teamwork, passion, and handling obstacles. So, without any further ado, I would like to give this virtual mic to Sir and would like to hear him and learn from him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Though I was not part and parcel of the speaking galaxy, since you invited me, let me also put it across. So, this is the third episode we are going through, and we have gone through very beautifully in the first episode and the second episode of thinking skills. And what I gather is when we were talking about the friends from abroad, just Dr. What is the Lopez? She also mentioned the critical thinking. So a lot of work has been done on critical thinking. A lot of things have been said on critical thinking so far. Just trying to put it in a more simpler words. Thinking means you got to be creative. You must be able to have ideas, which we can, put those ideas into innovations and take the things forward. Ideas could be it's all fresh ideas for whatever services or products and things that are existing, how you can improve upon. So that is how the thinking is important, that generation of ideas and viable ideas are taken forward so that ideas can then be innovated into a product or a service which the whole industry, whole community is trying to look forward to keep moving forward into the future. And we said a lot of stuff about curiosity and the knowledge. Unless you have the knowledge, you cannot think of great ideas. Unless you have a curiosity, you will not be able to really work on that. Imagination is also a beautiful area one has to look into, because unless you imagine things, you will not be able to produce them. And God has given us ample imagination. God has not done any discrimination between people, that somebody rich can have better imagination, somebody is poorer has a little less imagination. Anybody can think and be anywhere in the world. When we think of imagining, anybody can imagine whatever you feel like. And imagination gives you a food for creating ideas. That is what so far we discussed. And if I say brainstorming was another area where not many the speakers in the last two sessions also made a mention. And if you have to generate ideas, beautiful concept of brainstorming. I can only say a few words on brainstorming. It has to be regulated. When we talk about creating ideas through brainstorming, it needs to be regulated. What is the regulation? We are working on some new ideas and you want the team to come and sit together, then the team must know prior to the time when you are going to sit together to discuss ideas and create new ideas. The team must know why prior, so that they can contribute to the discussion which is going to take place. And the rule of the game has to be set, that one person is going to note down all the ideas which are emerging, and nobody is going to debate or cut cross or say I have already tried out this idea. Nobody is going to stop the person when ideas are being generated. So people are supposed to sit around the table, say 7, 8, 10 of them, and you go by clockwise or anti-clockwise and go one by one and ask ideas, and nobody is supposed to debate, nobody is going to criticize, nobody is going to tell anything about the idea which is emerging. So you go one by one person is nominated to note all the ideas, and go second time, go third time, say about 10, 15, 20 ideas have emerged. Then you have to go in for a voting. The best democratic concept is which idea we must take it forward. So make a list of that. Quickly, we put them on the paper, get it Xerox, give it a copy to each one that these are the ideas that have emerged. Then every idea, you got to vote. Say there are 8 people sitting and giving ideas. And note down the votes. How many are interested that the idea number 1 must be taken forward? Note down yes and no's, yes and no's, yes and no's, and list down. And take up the maximum where you have the yeses, and then try and put them together, merge them together, bring them into the shape of 2, 3 ideas. And that is how you then talk about pros and cons of ideas which has emerged. So that everyone has contributed, and that is how it creates more number of ideas. And it is allowing people, not stopping to give their point of view and where we are doing it. And generally, the brainstorming is also done at a neutral place, not in a place of somebody up in the hierarchy. Anyone sitting in somebody's office and brainstorming ideas, generally, when you sit in the office of a senior person, some of the ideas stop coming down. Or when you get into the office of someone, you see something on the name on the board outside, already start coming under pressure. You don't come out with the original ideas which you want to give. That's it. Since brainstorming has been mentioned very many times in the last 2 episodes, I thought let me put it. So there's another concept, reverse brainstorming. That's also a beautiful concept of creating ideas. Make the things negative. Suppose I am running a health care system. I have a small hospital, and I get a lot of complaints of the patients coming to me that they are not very happy with the services of the hospital. Now, I as a boss, I must get my core team put together to find out the answers to satisfy my patients and their families. The reverse brainstorming says the concept of creating new ideas is that instead of giving an objective of how to improve the hospital, you will give an objective to the team to come out with an ideas how the hospitals can be made bad, how the patients can be ill-treated, or the patients' families can be ill-treated. Again, the same brainstorming concept goes. One by one, we sit on the table. One by one, points start coming up. How the bad treatment can be given to the patients and their families when they come and visit the hospital. So all those negative points will come. All negative points are supposed to be noted down. And across that, from negative, it is converted into the positive. Why negative? Why are we looking at the negative aspects? Because it is always said negative things in life are more thrilling than the positive one. Negative ideas emerge faster than the positive one. It's a very beautiful concept of generating ideas. You can always try that, because if the way Dr. Kothari also said, we must get up at 4 o'clock and 4:30 and all. Try and tell your children, try people those are young to get up at 4:30. They will never be happy. Tell them to let's dance till 2 o'clock midnight in one of the under a DJ in one of the places. They'll be too happy to do that. The negative aspects come up so quickly. People accept negative things faster. That is our brain works. So this concept of reverse brainstorming is another area one can try it out, generate more ideas. Very beautiful concept. Generate ideas, convert them into the positive one, and then take the action to see that the hospital does which is supposed to provide to the patients and their families. This is a beautiful way of working and putting into action. Why I'm bringing it out? These words have been spoken earlier also. Mind map was another way, and some other concepts were also discussed. Why I'm bringing it out? Because there is a gap between the educators. Today we are enjoying the Happy Teachers Day concept in India. But there's a gap between the thinking of the educators and the people, those in the corporate. this bridging is not there. Why I'm saying so? Because I go to the corporates, I understand the pulse of the people. I work with one of the best MNCs and stuff like that. I work with one of the best universities and educational institutes. There's a big gap. The gap is never bridged. Let me give you one small example. Why these ideas which are emerging are not actually taking shape on the ground. A lot of teachers and the professors, the head of the institutions have made very beautiful theories and made mention of how the students are being taught. But how is actually not converting on ground, there is a big reasons for that. What is the reason? The educators do not go to the corporate and spend time with them 2 years or 4 years or 5 years. We do not give them an opportunity. The corporate will not give them an opportunity. Similarly, the corporate people do not leave the job, get into education, and go back after some time again. So this merging of these two different streams is not happening. Because corporate doesn't want to take chance. They're looking for profits. They don't want to get someone who's not geared up at a middle level or somewhere as a professor and getting into the system. Similarly, educational institutes think they do not understand the curriculum, they do not understand how the teaching goes, so they also do not want to get them. Or also they are not ready to pay that kind of money to them. Unless the gap is bridged, unless by as a national agenda, that gap is bridged between these two entities, that they must go to the other place, they must come back to the other place after 5 to 10 years, must go there, must come back and all, then only the thinking or creative thinking or critical thinking stuff is going to have better say. It'll have much more better results on the ground when we talk about research component, whatever. I also say, I'm very fond of saying that we generally find three kind of people. One is things make happen. One kind of people, they make things happen. Another one is watch things happen. And third one is they ask what has happened. Make things happen. The number of people in the country are very limited which actually believe in making things happen. The very large number of people from across are very large number in the second category, watch things happen. Let's take, we had a couple of medals in the Olympics and the Tokyo Olympics. I think for 15 days, the whole nation was just talking about gold medals and silver medals. You have T20, you see the whole nations. I happened to be there in West Bengal, my early surveys, when I was in army. I was with an organization. They used to fight to get a day off when there was a football match between Mohun Bagan and the East Bengal. They were absolutely rivals. People used to fight it out of the match, like we see in very club, football matches going abroad, seen abroad also. Whole organization wanted a day off just because they want to see the match. And their productivity is getting suffered. So what I'm trying to say when putting it together, because I'm not formally planned, because today I was not a speaker, so not formally planned, but I'm just putting some few points across that unless we get into the category of one that make things happen and make less and less watch things happen, the country is going to get forward. Not only the country, the human, because the human race is going to move forward because everyone is going to contribute better way than what we are doing right now. These are some of my ideas, my points. If somebody has got a question, I'll be able to generate more discussion on this. Sudhakar sir.
सर, जब भी मैं आपको सुनता हूं तो इट्स अ डिलाइट एंड लगता है कि कुछ सीख रहा हूं मैं. सो that kind of feeling comes to me. So I always keep on learning from you, and your words always encourages me and fills me up with energy. तो जब डॉक्टर कलाम इंडिया का कॉन्सेप्ट आया तो मैंने सोचा कि क्या would I be able to do it, and there are so many questions raised before I shared with somebody. So तो उस समय जो है मेरे मन में जो है एक बात आई खुद से, और खुद को मैंने ये बोला कि रोको न मुझे अब चलने दो, रोको न मुझे अब चलने दो कि आती जाती लहरों पे कि आती जाती लहरों पे मुझे टहलने दो, रोको न मुझे अब चलने दो, कि आती जाती लहरों पे मुझे टहलने दो। हाँ मुझे पता है, हाँ मुझे पता है, व्याकुल है लहरें, व्याकुल है लहरें डुबाने को मुझे। हाँ मुझे पता है, व्याकुल है लहरें डुबाने को मुझे, मगर हुजूर दिल की बात तो जरा उनसे कहने दो,
क्या बात
मगर हुजूर दिल की बात तो जरा उनसे कहने दो, रोको न मुझे अब चलने दो, आती जाती लहरों पे मुझे टहलने दो, आती जाती लहरों पे टहलने दो। तो मैं सबसे यही कहूंगा कि
hold sir, hold on. Dr. Lopez is there. If you can put it in English, these two lines,
she is
what you
gone,
said in a poetry.
she is gone, sir, she is gone.
Okay, fine. Then it's good. Okay, that's good. Okay, because yeah, language problem shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So थैंक यू वेरी मच। तो यही मैं सबको कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो चीजें आती हैं सोचिए, थिंकिंग स्किल्स को अप्लाई कीजिए एंड गो अहेड एंड यू विल बी सक्सेसफुल। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड Shweta ma'am, I would request you to come over the camera and if you are there, ma'am. Shweta ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
मैम थैंक्स भी तो आप ही को बोलना है मैम, इट शुड एंड विद यू।
नहीं सर, ऐसी बात नहीं है। आई थॉट सुमेधा मैम है तो फिर और किसी की जरूरत ही नहीं है।
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be
Sure.
right back,
I
ma'am.
can continue if you want.
Absolutely, ma'am. Please do. It's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
listening to you. मजा आ रहा है आज मुझे बहुत।
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. So, dear audience, with this we come to the end of the International Conference on Thinking Skills for New India and the World. I thank everyone for their gracious presence and contributing to the session and revolutionize the education ecosystem with their ideas and with their inspiring thoughts. With this, we have come to the end, but it is not the end. It's just the beginning to the new education system that we all are wondering upon. So, happy Teachers' Day to everyone and good evening, everyone. Thank you.
And
So much.
I thank you, Sumedha ma'am, for such a wonderful moderation. And Apne, you have done it so well that there are no words to express it. I'm so grateful, ma'am, on
Thank you.
behalf of
Thank
Dr.
you, sir.
Kalam India Foundation, ma'am. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, sir.
and have a nice evening, everybody. Thanks a lot, and happy Teachers' Day to all of you. तो एक बार फोटो सभी का ले लें क्या, एक बार स्क्रीनशॉट ले लेते हैं, अगर सभी लोग जो है
बढ़िया से ले लो तो
कर लें तो we can have a this thing screenshot इसका, right sir? Thank you sir, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great show. Thank you.